Hello everybody, Quiet Atheist here. This is going to be a direct video response to jezuzfreek777, I believe. So, Jesus Freak, I noticed the video that you had made. It was brought to my attention by a subscriber, and I decided to sit through your whole video, and there was a couple of things that I had a problem with. And keep in mind, like I told you in the comment section of your video, I'm not going to insult you, I'm not going to attack you, I'm not going to say anything like that of that nature. I just want to express my disagreements that I have with what you said, and that'll be it. So with that said, the first thing that I want to talk to you about is the fact that you did mention that if you promote sexuality, that you're hoisted above everyone's shoulders and so on and so forth, you know, through the media and whatnot. Well, when you do these things, it strives towards social development. I mean, society really gets better when people do these things, because what actually happens is that society is a lot more comfortable and a lot more hospitable for gay and lesbian communities to thrive in, you know. And you know, it is a development, you know, it's a social development, and it is for the win, basically, you know. And you know, that's why a lot of people, when they support the LGBT community and they support these things, you know, they are viewed as better people, because they are in all actuality for social development. And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that you're a bad person, I'm just saying, you know, the LGBT community is striving for a better community, you know, for these particular individuals to live in, and to me that's a plus all the way. And another thing that you had mentioned in your video is the fact that you said that the Bible mentions, you know, homosexuality as a sin, and so on and so forth. You know, and I agree with you there that the Bible does say that, but the Bible also does contradict itself, you know, in a lot of ways. Because there are verses in there that say, you know, you should take all the virgins for yourself after you conquer a city, I believe. It also mentions men having junk the size of stallions, so on and so forth, you know, and how you should treat your rape victims, and so on and so forth. And that's why I wanted to point out the contradictions there with what you had said. The next thing that I wanted to talk to you about is the fact that you said that the Bible is, you know, a good example of morality. And again, it contradicts itself, because a lot of things in there are pretty terrible. And for example, you take an unruly child out to the edge of town and stone them to death. You kill a non-virgin on her wedding night. You're supposed to do that. You are supposed to kill individuals who don't obey priests. You're supposed to kill non-believers, so on and so forth. So as far as the morality issue is concerned, it really contradicts itself. And that's what I wanted to mention to you, you know. And before I go on, I would like to apologize for the sound of the train that's coming by. We do live by a set of train tracks. But with that said, I think that I want to mention the fact that I believe that whole Joel Osteen issue that you had mentioned in your video would have been a better option, you know. I think this whole thing could have been avoided if that option was taken, you know, because he does have a right to free speech, you know. I'm not going to deny him that. I'm not going to deny that at all. But what you have to realize, Jesus Freak, is the fact that he does also have a right to receive the consequences as they come forward, you know. And that's the way that it goes. I mean, I'm pretty sure A&E is privately owned, and I'm pretty sure they want to maintain a certain level of professionalism in the workplace. Now, when an individual says these kinds of things, of course there's going to be consequences, you know. And that's what I wanted to mention to you, because, you know, I think that it puts A&E in an uncomfortable position, you know. Now, whether or not they're going to hire him back, I'm not sure, but I wouldn't have no problem with it if they did. You know, this whole situation can be an example to learn from for Phil, you know, from Duck Dynasty. And that's what I wanted to mention to you about, you know. And another thing that I wanted to talk to you about that I highly disagree with is the fact that you mentioned that the Bible is the truth, you know. And I'm going to disagree with you on that because I want to. And to mention that a lot of Christians come up to me and say, well, there's lots of corroborating evidence from a lot of individuals that say that the Bible is true. And the corroborating evidence that they give me is the authors that wrote the book in different time periods, you know. But what does that corroborating evidence entail? One has to ask. The answer is simple. They were all Christians. I think your guys' corroborating evidence is a little bit different from mine. You know, I'm looking for something that's, you know, outside the boundaries of Christianity, you know, something that can confirm, you know, because when you enter the realm of Christianity, I think it introduces a lot of bias, you know what I mean? They're going to agree with each other, you know, so on and so forth. You know, and that's what I'm looking for, the corroborating evidence outside of Christianity. And you're right, there are a lot of rules and laws, Jesus freak, you know, and everybody has to abide by them. You know, they can choose if they want to or not. You know, I can't tell nobody what they can and what they cannot do with their own lives, you know, and that's what I want to mention. And one of the things that bugs me the most about this whole situation is people, you know, like that have the same position as you do, say that, you know, we atheists have to, you know, respect the laws, so on and so forth. Well, in all actuality, you have to do the same as well. And there's many evidences that show that Christianity does not, you know. I mean, you can read up on anything pretty much, you know. Separation of church is completely, separation of church and state is completely disregarded. And, you know, Christians are, you know, unfairly implementing Christianity into public schools and teaching it as science. You know, I bet you the founding fathers are rolling around in their graves right now about this whole situation. And that's what I wanted to talk about, you know. And you have this whole idea that if you Christians, you know, don't believe what we believe, you must be punished. That is not the case. There is consequences for what people do, you know, regardless if there's a Christian involved, regardless if there's an atheist involved, whatever the case might be. Okay. And in all actuality, it is Christianity that creates a boatload of laws, you know. Because I'm pretty sure if I went, you know, over to a soup kitchen, for example, and worked for a Christian organization, and I ended up telling everybody that's working there that they're sleeping with each other and they have lots of sex, guess what they're going to do? Fire me. Why? Because they have every right to do. You know what I mean? Because that shows that I'm a negative person to be around, and that they don't want that kind of image involved with what they're doing. Which the same goes with A&E. They did not want that kind of stuff involved with what they were doing. You know what I mean? And that's what you got to look at. It goes both ways. You know. And that's, I think, you know, basically what I wanted to talk to you about. Like I said, I wrote a couple of notes here. And that's what I wanted to get off of my chest with you. You know. I'll send you the link to this video. And hopefully you watch it, whatever. If you want to ignore it, whatever the case might be, that's fine with me. And it's funny, one more thing that I will mention to you. It's funny that you mentioned something about bloodthirsty, you know. Bloodthirsty culture, I believe. You know, if you look way back in the days, you know, during the Spanish Crusades, I believe, and the Salem witch trials, and so on and so forth. You know, there's a lot of clusterfuck going on there. You know what I mean? that was a bloodthirsty culture. I don't think it's so bad as now, because it's actually against the law to take someone and kill them for what they believe in here in the United States, or what they lack to believe in. You know what I mean? Because I think that's why a lot of Christians, you know, basically hold back with what they want to do. I'm not going to sit here and pretend to know what other people think, but you know, in all actuality, you get a good, strong Christian fundamentalist involved. I'm pretty sure he has it in his mind to kill you for being an atheist. You know, I'm not saying you're an atheist, but you get what I'm saying. And because laws are implemented in this country, and you will pay severely for these kinds of behavior, they do not do these things. However, if these laws were not in place for those reasons, a lot of us atheists would probably be burning on a pile of wood somewhere. And that's the way it is. That is hatred and discrimination at its finest. And that's what we are trying to get rid of in this country. We can work together. There's people in religion right now that are actually on the side of atheists in regarding separation of church and state. They're pushing for that. That's what they want. You know? We could live side by side, you know, without any of this nonsense. Respect each other's positions and boundaries. I'm speaking for myself, by the way. I can't speak for every atheist out there. I just want to get that out there now, in case anybody misunderstood what I said. But, you know, that's basically what I have to say about the situation. In the meantime, Quiet Atheist is out, everybody. Let me know what you guys think of this particular video today in the comment section down below. Remember, guys, if you can't be good at it. Stay fly.